unbelievable. Check this out. It is World Loo Roll Day, but why not? We made it up. Who cares? We made it up. We made it up because that's what this is all about. Here we are. In a loo roll factory. Unbelievable. Look at the size of that loo roll. That is a giant loo roll for anybody, isn't it? Look at that. 2 tons. So here we are in a loo roll factory. God, blimey, that machine, it turns off every once in a while, thank goodness. Oh, there it goes again. It's doing my head in, this is, it really is. So today is Rocket Kids Club Launch Week Day 3. We've got the big launch tomorrow, and today, as I say, is World Loo Roll Day. Well, what does that mean to you? Well, basically, Wednesday 23rd of April, what you've got to do is you have got to come back here at 10 o'clock and we're going to brief you on the creative task today. And all you're going to need are some loo rolls like this. That's all you're going to need, a few loo rolls, and that's your creative materials. Maybe if you're lucky enough to have a glue gun, you could use a glue gun. Maybe some sticky tape to stick them all together. I don't know, whatever. What could you do? What sort of things could you get up to? Let's have a look. Well, 2 o'clock we're going to see what you've done. We've got a bit of a screen set up there. Let's have a look at that. Let's see what's on that screen. Okay, what sort of things could you get up to? That's good. Thanks for that screen, mate. Nice one. So you could do a little robot sculpture like this. You could get some loo rolls and you could stick them together and make some legs for a robot. I like that one. I think that was from Wimbledon College of Art. I love that. Wimbledon College of Art, you rock. Boom, fist bump to the robot there. Oh, it's a bit hard. What else could you do? You could do some painting. You could paint. A toilet roll holder, a loo roll holder, the art of loo rolls. Fantastic. You could make some rock and roll heroes. That's one. For Dave Wearing up there in Kelsall Primary. I know Dave Wearing will love that one. And maybe Graham Andre as well. They like a little bit of music, don't they? And what else we got? Oh, you could paint a palm tree. You could cut the top off and you could fold it out. So if you get your loo roll holder like this, and if you maybe cut the ends like that, you could fold it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, where does the time go? Where does the time go? Do you know that feeling when you get up and suddenly you've missed your breakfast and you haven't really done your bits and pieces? Oh my goodness! I've just got one thing to change, and if you can, I'll tell you what. Do you want to know a little secret? Can you see just here? Can you see this kind of line here, and how the screen kind of finishes? Look. That's not very good, is it? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press this button here, and what that's done is it stops you seeing me walk round the office, or not an office really, walk round the factory to move the camera just a little bit like that so you can't see that edge. That should look a little bit better now, and I know why I did that because I moved it a minute ago, and oh blimey. This is hard work, isn't it? What's it like? What does it feel to be behind the scenes for a television programme? How does it feel? Do you think it's quite exciting seeing how things work? Do any of you remember what we've got here yesterday? Shall I show you that quickly? Don't let the adults see, because we want them to think that I am in a factory like this. Let's have a look and see if we can show you what we've got. Let me press that button there. That should do it, shouldn't it? And then if I turn me off and press that, look at that. That is my desk. That is my desk here, because here's my hand and here I am, look, giving it a bit of a wiggle as my beer bed. I tell you what, all this sitting around and doing nothing doesn't do much for your figure, that's for sure. So we've got a bit of a paper rocket on the desk here. There's a paper rocket I made the other day. We'll be looking at those tomorrow. Whole pile of t-shirts, because we've got a load of t-shirts to print for people who want t-shirts to wear on the launch day tomorrow. So I'm going to get those printed out today. What else have we got? We've got JD the robot. He's keeping an eye on things. We've had a big delivery from CPC. Now they're a cool company. If you need any cables, leads, microbits, they are brilliant. They're in Preston and near Blackpool, and they send stuff out. If you get an order in by 6 o'clock or 10 to 6, they get it to you the next day. It's brilliant, and postage is like £2. You don't have to buy one of those £100 a year things like some companies charge you. It's brilliant. What else have we got hidden down here? We have got hidden behind all these t-shirts. Check this out. This is the really cool thing. This is my magic box. This is my vision mixer. And in there, all my video cables come in, cameras, all the laptops, and I can press buttons. So if I press this button here, I come up on the screen, look, see? And if I press that button, it fades back to the video that's down from the factory. So I'll put that back. So this is really cool. We've got some toilet roll holders here, which we're going to do something with later on. What's really hard is looking at a screen, because everything happens back to front, which I find a bit confusing. Although some people, like Carol Allen up there in Newcastle, she's not surprised because she told me today's Thursday. I thought it was Wednesday. Do you know what? I don't know what day of the week it is. I haven't got a clue. And do I look like I care? Do I look like I care what day of the week it is? Have you noticed any difference between the days? The only day you need to remember is that tomorrow is Friday, which means today is Thursday. Carol was right. Thanks for that, Carol Allen, you smart Alec. Cool, she's keeping an eye on me. It's good to know she's got my back in more ways than one, quite often in more ways than just today. Good stuff. Carol Allen up there in Newcastle, shout out to the Geordie Massive and the Mackhams. If ever I mention the Geordies, I have to mention the Mackhams, and I'll tell you what Mackhams are later, because that's a really cool. In fact, I'd be proud to be a Mackham. Oh gosh, I've just done it, haven't I? I've just alienated Newcastle and North Tyneside. Not to worry, move swiftly on, Nick, before you make any more gaffes. Over here is the really cool stuff. So there, look, I got 3 laptops. I got those off Gumtree, fun enough. Chap turned around and brought them around. So there's a laptop here. Now, if you contact us on Skype, I'm going to log in here. and we're ready to get calls on there later on. So if anybody wants to come live on the show, they can come in there. Yep, that's the community lock-in. So Skype address, community lock-in, all one word. If you find that and friend us, you can send us messages, maybe even come on the show live later on. Yesterday was brilliant. We had a granddad, Granddad Pete, and his daughter, Laura I think it was, and 3 boys, really lovely kids, and they had the best time because she's a teaching assistant, only a teaching assistant, yeah right, whatever. She's brilliant, really creative, really creative. And that's what schools are about, teamwork. TAs, teaching assistants, working with teachers, working with their head teachers to do a brilliant job, to give you an amazing time. I love schools, I love teachers. And then the 3 grandchildren. But what was really cool is in the afternoon, they all Skyped in at the same time so they could see each other. And then Grandma got interested because she's probably fed up with what Granddad gets up to half the time. I know that feeling, Granddad Pete. So she actually, oh blimey, look, there's the grandchildren. Fantastic. And it's amazing. When you see your grandchildren and your daughter, suddenly you're interested. And that's what this is about. It's not about technology. It's about people like you. So one person's going to be Skyping in on there, and somebody else can Skype in there so we can mix them up together. Now I don't know if you can see those little boxes there, those are audio cards, which is all quite complicated. I've got a sound mixer here because with Skype, if somebody Skypes in here and somebody Skypes in there, we can't hear each other, so I have to mix it. And oh gosh, ever so technical. Good job I managed to work it out because it's been very hard, so if it doesn't work, please don't be grumpy. And behind JD is another computer over there, look, and that one is connected to the internet. And as long as it says, I don't know if you can see it, I might be able to zoom in on that, actually, let's have a look, let's zoom in all the way, as long as it keeps saying, there you go, look, you can see it says record live on air. Can you see that? It says record on air, and as long as it keeps saying that, I know that we are live on air, funnily enough, because that's what it's saying. If that goes off, then I'm in trouble, because that means that my internet connection's gone down, which has been known to happen. BT, we had a couple of problems around here, so that's not ideal. My next door neighbour had, I actually asked her if I could use hers because I bought a 50-metre cable to run it all the way to her house as a backup. And hers wasn't working, but BT came in yesterday, so hers is fixed. So I literally just had a text saying my internet's fixed, so I can have a backup. So if it goes down, I can plug it into, and that's what this is all about. Not being afraid to have a go, and if it goes wrong, work out what's wrong, fix it, and carry on. And that's what the Rocket Kid Club is all about. It's about aiming not just high, but higher, and that's what we're doing with the Rocket Kids Club this week. So today, as I said, today is World Loo Roll Day. World Loo Roll Day. Now I'll be honest, okay, we made it up. Yeah, we made it up. But you know what? Why not? Because we found out yesterday that World Cardboard Day, or World Box Day, where people were making things out of cardboard boxes, like this lovely little box. Oh, I can't wait to make something out of that one. Look at that, that's fancy, isn't it? eBay sticky tape. Do you want to see what we made yesterday as well? Look at this. Whoa, how cool is that? How cool is that robot head made out of cardboard? And that's the sort of cool thing we're going to be doing on the Rocket Kids Club. Every day in May, we're going to have a show every day. At the moment, we're just doing one a week because I'm a bit worn out with it all, and I've got to set it up, and I've actually got to build a social media platform yet, which is going to take me a little bit of time because I've got to do that for tomorrow. So that's the sort of thing we can make. Lots of cool things. Today, as I say, is Cardboard Loo Roll Day. And I'm really lucky because they've let me come in to a factory that makes loo rolls. My granddad, bless him, Granddad Corsten, Jack, he started one day in his backyard. He got some beans from the market, and my granddad got all these beans and took the pods off and washed them and cleaned them and boiled them up and put them in tin cans. He got some empty tin cans and he put the beans in the tin cans with some salty water, and he put the lids on and he hammered the lids on, and he started a canning factory. And that was in a town called Thetford in Norfolk. And funny enough, he then started a big factory, and it was the factory where they used to build the Burrell steam engines and traction engines and Showman's. Fantastic. I was so chuffed with it. I used to love it. And I used to go and see my granddad. I've actually got some film of that. We'll have to dig that out. And I'll tell you why I tell you that, because my granddad's factory, and it wasn't his, he managed it because he was an ordinary working class man from Norwich. And he was the manager of that factory, but he helped them build it, and he lived in a little 2-bedroom, 2-up-down terrace house in Thetford like everybody else, ordinary bloke with my grandma, bless them. And the factory where they made baked beans was just like this one. But instead of toilet rolls going around, it was cans of beans going around. And in fact, there was one conveyor belt where all the beans used to go by, and ladies, they were ladies actually, I'm afraid to say, most of them were ladies, would sit there with white hats on, not like this, not hard hats, but little cloth ones to stop the germs and hair going in the food. And they had to pick the black beans out. Because you don't want a black baked bean. Have you ever had a black baked bean? Well, maybe you have. And if you have, it's actually quite lucky because there aren't very many. But their job every day was to pick the black beans out of the conveyor belt. Who'd like to sit in a factory all day picking out black beans? Not me. Not me. And that is what I call a dirty or a dangerous or a boring job. And I put that in the boring category. And do you know who I think should be doing those boring jobs? People like JD. JD should be doing boring jobs like that, the robots. And if you look very carefully at this toilet roll factory, can you see how many people are working there? See if you can see any people in the toilet roll factory. I haven't seen any yet. There might be one person driving that crane, but these factories are now driven and worked by robots. Robots do lots and lots of the dirty, the dangerous, and the boring jobs. And that's what we've got to do with the Rocket Kids Club. We've got to teach you not to just aim high, but to aim higher. And to teach you to learn to code the robots. And tomorrow we're going to teach you how to code one of these robots. This robot is called Edison. Edison is a super cool robot. That's Edison there. He's a super cool robot. He's got Lego bricks on the top, so you can put Lego on top of it. You can take the wheels off and put cogwheels on there, so you can make him work a crane or work a factory, or even make your own factory with one of these. This one's got wheels with two wheels, 2 motors. It's got light sensors. You can clap, and we'll look at that later on. But that is an Edison robot. Now they're £45, and I've just had 30 of the last ones delivered, and we're going to put those in our Scheme Coast shop later on if anybody wants to buy one of those. But we're going to give one of those away tomorrow, free, in the Rocket Kids Club. Now if you're listening up there, Laura and Grandad Pete, I'm going to send you one, and I'm also going to send one up to Leanne and Rowan in Leeds. There's 2 special families who've been super helpful this week by coming on and supporting. Leanne and Rowan made a crane out of wood, and Grandad Pete and Laura and the boys, they came on yesterday and did loads of things. So I'm going to get your address, and I'm going to send you all a free Edison robot, because I want you to help us learn how to code them and show us some cool things. Do you fancy that? Is that a good idea? Another thing that they've got with these kits is you can buy these kits that have got conveyor belts and caterpillar tracks and all sorts of things. So you could build remote control diggers that you can control with a smartphone or a computer, and you could code it and do things yourself. So that's going to be really cool. And tomorrow we're also going to look at how we can code the JD robot, because we've got one of these free. These are £500, a lot of money. I couldn't afford it, somebody gave me this one, the company Easy Robot. And we're going to teach you how to code one of these, and on the 7th of May we are going to give one of these away to a school community. Not to you or your mum or dad or your carer or your granddad, but we're going to give it to you to give to your school, and you can be the boss of it. A bit like having a school dog, but having a school robot. And what we want you to do is learn how to code it in the Rocket Kids Club, and then show all your friends how to code it. And you could be a digital leader. You could be a person who teaches the rest of your community, your mums and your dads and all your friends, how to do coding, so that you can learn to code the robots and not sit there picking beans out of a conveyor belt and other crazy dangerous jobs. We're going to talk about all that tomorrow. So where was I? Oh, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow as well. I'm so excited. I'm going to show you how to make these paper rockets, which is something I do in schools, and we'll fire one of those tomorrow on the air, probably out of the window, and it will go miles and I won't see it again. But the really cool thing is I've got one of these kits left. This is a kit to make a dynamite, not a dinosaur, a dynamite rocket, and those are the fins. And we are going to make this live on the Rocket Kids show tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. And at 5 o'clock, we are going to fire this rocket with dynamite live on the Rocket Kids show in the air in my backyard. Because I do what I want in my backyard as long as it's safe and as long as I'm careful, as long as I know what I'm doing. You mustn't do this because you haven't got any dynamite like I have. I've got a box full of dynamite in the room next door and I've got lots of insurance, but I'm going to show you how we make this. We're going to make it live on the show tomorrow and we're going to fire it. And we're also going to print t-shirts. So if people want t-shirts, we can get all those printed. So if anybody wants a t-shirt to wear on the show one day, they can have that. We're going to look at these robot crocodile, Lego robot crocodiles. Can you see that? When you put your hand in his mouth, he bites you like that because he's got a motor and a light sensor. So we're going to look at coding that tomorrow. We're going to have a great day tomorrow. Lots of stuff to look at tomorrow. But today, what day is it today? I can't remember. What day to talk about? I can't remember. Bit senior moment coming up. Let's have a look here. Oh yeah, it's Rocket Kids launch, Rocket Kids Club launch week. And what we're doing tomorrow is launching what we call a social media platform. It's a bit like Facebook for families really, but don't tell them I said it was like Facebook because they might sue me for using the F word there. It's like Facebook for families. It's really a safe online place where you, kids like you, kids and your creative carers. And what we mean by creative carer is maybe your mum or a dad or an auntie or an uncle or somebody at school or a friend or somebody where you live who looks after you and cares for you. So a carer is somebody who cares about you, but a creative carer is somebody who cares about you and your creativity and all our futures, because your creativity is the key to our future. The coronavirus is only going to be solved by scientists using their creativity and their knowledge and their skills together to come up with a cure for coronavirus. And we've got to teach you to be creative, and if you want to be a scientist, you can go off and be a scientist. If you want to be an engineer, you can go and be an engineer. If you want to be a coder, if you want to be a painter or a dancer or a drawer or whatever you want to do, aim high. Not just high, but higher. And that's what Rocket Kid Club's all about. So we're connecting you with your art, whatever it is, whether your art is robots, rockets, cooking, coding, painting, photography, design, drawing, DJing, whatever. I tell you what, we'll do some DJing tomorrow as well. Look at this. I have got a DJ controller here. Can you see that? I have got a DJ controller and you can scratch this like you're scratching. And I know where you can get free software where you can do DJ scratching. Because Saturday night at 10 o'clock when you're in bed, I get my disco lights out, I get my DJ decks out, and I get this super gadget out. We get the mirror ball out and we have a Saturday night fever disco, because that's the only sort of fever we want in the creative community lock-in. So that's Saturday night, and in fact at 5 o'clock this Saturday we're doing a special Saturday afternoon fever disco for Graham Andre and Darren and Ed, because they're doing an isolation brew-ed lock-in. And we're doing a disco at 5 and then another one at 10 o'clock at night until 1 in the morning. Crazy things here in the community lockdown. But this is the Rocket Kids show, Rocket Kids Club show, and this is the family friendly bit. So I better be careful where I go on these conversations, hadn't I, Dad? Yep, we had. So where were we? So that's the Rocket Kids Club launch. We launch that tomorrow. We've got 100 places. Just 100 places for people on the Rocket Kids Club launch. And then for the next 2 weeks, we're going to test it and try it and see if it works and see what works and what doesn't. And Grandad Pete's going to help me hopefully as well. Yes, Grandad Pete, I haven't forgotten you. You're going to help me get this working. I was on the yesterday, we had an Art Connect show and I met an amazing graphic designer and technologist in Ohio, in America. And he's got some boys, I think they're all boys, but it doesn't matter, boys, girls, we're all in it together. And he's going to help us do some graphic design maybe, and design a logo for it. So every day, every week, the logo for the Rocket Kids Club is going to be different. It's going to be really cool. And you could do some graphic design and you could design the logo for the Rocket Kids Club for 1 week. And then we'll change it every week. We're going to try and get some famous designers to do it. So, gosh, I just can't stop making this up. And if it looks like I'm making it up as I go along, I am. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes planning's important. You've got to have some sort of a plan. But if you spend too much time planning, you don't get anything done. So plan to fail, fail to plan. I don't know, whatever. I'm just getting on with it and doing my best because I'm just a dad and I do what I can, as Rag and Bone Man said. Right, so Rocket Kids Club launch. Today is World Loo Roll Day. And what we need you to do in the next couple of hours is to make something with a loo roll, an empty loo roll holder. So this is the 10 o'clock briefing. Now, what I think I'll do is I'll cut back to my camera here, and let's get like Blue Peter. Let's have a little camera here so you can see what we're doing, because I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I am making it up as I go along. So let's just get a camera in there so it's quite tight so we can see what's happening. So we've got Lego Robot Crocodile. We'll keep him there so you can keep an eye on what's going on. Now I've got a super gadget here, which is a glue gun. And this end bit here gets hot. Oh gosh, no, it's not hot yet because I haven't turned it on. But when I've turned it on, that is dangerously hot. Now this is something you should never use as a child without a grown-up supervising. And even, I'm technically a grown-up, but I can't tell you some of the terrible stories I've had about this because I left it and it fell over and it got hot and burnt things. I've actually had small fires. It's quite worrying, so we won't go into that. In fact, I didn't say that. We'll have to delete that out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug this in to the wall down here, because I want to show you how a glue gun works. So if you've got one or know anybody's got one, or you can get hold of one, these are super for doing cardboard modelling. Now I'm actually going to put that in my little drawer down here, I think, so it's totally safe and out. Oh, there's the rubber band from the crocodile. That's quite safe in there. And let's put that rubber band on here. Gosh, it's funny where you find things. You've been looking for things for ages. Right, so we'll get rid of our mouse clicker. So these are the Isle of Art templates, and if you saw those, but if you download those off the internet, we'll print those on to t-shirts just like this. So this is the Isle of Art t-shirt. You can download these templates. It's a simple sheet like that. Fold it in half, draw your heart in the middle, take a selfie, send us the artwork, and then we'll stick those on t-shirts. We're looking to do a few of those for people tomorrow. We're probably going to have to charge a little bit for those to cover our costs because I haven't got any money, I'm afraid. But not to worry, we don't need money at the moment. We've got time and stories and our art. That's all we need. So what we're going to do here. So here's a toilet roll. What could we make with a toilet roll? What do we think we could make with a toilet roll? Well, let's have a look at a couple of ideas. Let's get some inspiration here, shall we? Well, we could make a little robot like this. We could just draw and paint on them like this, and that's a lovely, it looks like something from the Victoria and Albert Museum, doesn't it? Like a fresco that's been painted around a pillar. We could make little rock and roll heroes like this with furry hair, and I love those. I think those are my favourite little people. And if we look closely there, it looks like they've cut the material, the toilet roll holder into little strips and then folded it out. That's quite nice. We'll have a look at that in a minute maybe. Now this is actually my favourite, and I don't know if you can see, and we haven't got it here, but that's a palm tree on a desert island, but it's a 3D thing made with a loo roll. And I'm going to show you roughly how to make something like that, I think, first. Let's have a quick look at that. I've only just seen that picture, so here's my loo roll. Let's see if I can get myself up on here. Should we get myself up on here as well? How could we do that? What we have to do to get me in that little picture there. Let's have a look. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? I'll put myself up there like that. So you can see I'm up in the corner, so you can see me up here, and then you can see me and my hands down here. You really need to kind of watch my hands, really. I'm that kind of character. Okay, so here is my toilet roll holder. If I wanted to make a little tree, let me think this through. So they okay, so let's. This is going to be completely random. This is going to actually be a wine glass. So I'm not going to be able to do a tree because I haven't got time to get my senile head around it. So I'm cutting this out like this. Okay, and then we'll cut around here like this. And you can watch this on the replay. Don't panic too much now. And there we go. So now, if I fold that back like that, that could almost be, I was talking to somebody yesterday from Liverpool, and apparently football's quite popular in Liverpool, and he said they just won a cup. So you could almost, if you've got some tin foil, how about that look? So you could pretend, you could draw this and shape this so it looks like the UEFA Cup or whatever it is they play football for. I remember the World Cup actually. I think the World Cup is a bit more like this, isn't it? It's a little bit round with a little bit on the top of there like that. Does that look like, and then you could do lots of little people's faces. So let me get my pen out of here. Yeah, I got a little, oh here we got, so we've got pink pen and black pen here. make sure that it doesn't get, and we could draw the faces of all those Liverpool fans who went to watch the UEFA Cup, and they went to watch Liverpool. Was it Liverpool or Arsenal? Liverpool or Everton. And there they are, all in the stadium. And there's the cup that they've won, and we'll say, let's put LFC. Let's call it LFC. Is that Leeds United? No, it'd be LUFC, wouldn't it? There we go. Let's just pretend we've done that, and let's draw some pink faces on them so they look like people. And suddenly, look at that. Check that out. Will you check that out? Oh, where are we? So look, we've made a little 3D sculpture. What could you make that looks like that? Something from Star Wars, or your favourite pop star, or I don't know, whatever. If you like football, and you could get some, as I say, you could get some tin foil on there. I'm quite pleased with that. Or it could be a tree. And the idea behind that, look, was the desert island that we've got up in the corner there. And who made that one? Let's have a look, see if we can see who's made that. Jelly Jules 77. I don't know if I got them off Instagram. I'm not very good at Instagram, but I did dig around on Instagram because it does seem to be where all the cool stuff is. It's really hard juggling stuff around actually and getting stuff in the right place. So there's one thing. I quite like to make a rocket actually. I like making rockets. Let's see if we can make a rocket out of a loo roll. And it doesn't have to be totally with a loo roll, as long as the loo roll is kind of an important core part of it. So let's go to there. I want to make a rocket. Oh, actually, this is a good one. This is quite cool. Can you see how I cut these 4 bits down here on this toilet roll holder? If I cut some more in there like that, click, 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 and then cut that off like that, and that off like that, and that off like that. I always wanted to star on Blue Peter. They'd never had me on, and here I am. I've made my own Blue Peter now, haven't I? Isn't this wonderful? Making an old man very happy here today. So that looks a bit like a castle, doesn't it? So if you had 4 of those, you could make a little castle. Actually, I've got some cardboard kicking around. Where's that cardboard? Here's that cardboard box here. Look. Remember this cardboard box I had? Remember this? So let's get a bit of cardboard off the side there. Now, scissors are the best things for cutting cardboard with. Be very, very careful, because I used some scissors the other day and I cut my thumb off. So I've got a thumb on that hand, but I haven't got a thumb on this hand. It got chopped off. Really, really dangerous scissors. You've got to be very, very careful with scissors, and please don't use knives. Don't use sharp knives or saws, and only if you've got an adult. And I'd like to see adults showing children how to use knives safely and responsibly, but children, please never use a knife on your own without a parent or an adult there to help, because you want to make sure you don't want to lose your thumb like I did, do you? I mean, that is really bad. I keep a spare one in my pocket. Is it in that pocket or this pocket? Hang on. Oh, there it is. Yeah, screw that back on. It's a little bit, it's not perfect, and sometimes you can see the line. You can sometimes see the line where it joins, you know, where I have to screw it back on. It's not ideal. You don't want that, because if I have to take that off again, I'm going to keep it on now, because thumbs are quite handy things to have. So don't go chopping yours off, please. So there's a little castle. So what I wanted to do is make some castle walls. So let's make a little castle wall here, and let's have more castly bits like this. So this is cardboard box day meets loo roll day, this is, isn't it? All happening in one. And let's clip that off there. The person I'd love to introduce you to is Darcy Turner. He's the guy who made that robot head I showed you earlier. I wish I had made that. I'm not that clever. Although maybe I am, I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe we should all just have a little bit more confidence. What do you think? So there is a little bit of wall for our castle. So I'm going to put that little piece there as well, and that little piece there. And we'll have those in the corner. This is my glue gun. Let's have a look at my glue gun, see if that's heated up, yeah? Oh, it has. Oh, there's smoke coming out of there. I hope that's not fire coming out. Now in a minute, let's zoom in here so you can see how this works. These are really cool. Glue guns are really cool. When I squeeze the handle, let's zoom out a bit more. When I squeeze this handle, it's a bit like a gun. Can you see that? And when I press that, boiling hot glue, can you see the glue gun stick? There's a stick at one end, and glue has come out there. Can you see that? Now that is boiling hot. If I touched that, I would get a really bad blister, really hot. This is why these are really dangerous. And what you've got to be careful doing is that, and then putting your elbow in it. You see, that wouldn't be very clever. So we'll put that safely out of the way. because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some glue on that edge there and some glue on that edge there, and I'm going to put my glue gun safely down, and then I'm going to stick that to my castle. Let's not stick it to the table, let's stick it to the castle. So that is now sticking, and you watch how quickly this, I've touched it with my finger and it's burnt my finger. I've done it again. Don't want to be doing that if you can avoid it. So there is a little castle. What do you think of that? And there's a secret bit. It's actually a magic castle, because no, it's not. I thought I had a magic string. I could have done some magic tricks, and I do like trying to pull some little tricks. And in fact, these bits here could fold. No, we won't do that. I'll spoil it. So there we go. You could put a little flag on. So there is a little castle. What do you think of that then? So we've got a little cardboard castle, and we've got our Leeds FC cup that we made out of 2 toilet rolls. So I've got to make a rocket, wasn't I? That's the only thing I haven't made. Okay, so let's make the rocket then. Let's have a look at a rocket. I'll show you a few top tips for rockets. So here is our body. That we don't need to do anything to that, but what we do need is a cone on the top. Now cones can be quite tricky. They're quite. There's a bit of cardboard on the floor over there. Let's get that. It looks a bit thinner. Hang on. This is a good thing about buying stuff on the internet, is you get all these great bits of cardboard. Save all the bits of cardboard, because I promise you they're better than the rubbish that came in them. So with a cone for a nose, you need to cut a kind of circular shape like this, like that, and then cut kind of like a wedge out of it. You see that? So I've cut. Can you see I've cut that wedge? So it's now that. Yeah, a bit like a Pac-Man. And then what we can do is we can sort of fold it around itself like that. And I'm going to do this one with sticky tape, because I don't want you to think you have to have a glue gun. Let's just show you. I've got the best tape to use. The best tape you can use is my favourite tape, and that's decorators insulation tape. So not insulation tape, masking tape. And you can buy this, if you look around, you can get it for about £1 a roll, and it has 50 metres, which is a lot of tape. It's a lot of tape. Now with this tape, you rip it like that, okay? Just rip it like that. What you don't want to do, don't pull it, because it's stretchy and it just goes all stretchy, so rip it like that, okay? One more bit, and rip it like that. I do love it in the school, because after the 4th one, you've usually got 250 kids all saying, rip it. So let's put that there, and that's a handy place to be keeping my tape, isn't it, on my arm, because I don't want it getting all twisted and stuck round. So there's my nose cone all rolled up, and you can see that on there like that, okay? And I'm going to get a piece of tape, and I'm going to wrap some tape around there. Now the good thing about this masking tape is that you can kind of mould it. It's just really cool for sticking things together, really. It's really good for modelling. And if anybody's got an uncle or an auntie or somebody they know, painter and decorator, you might even see, if you ever see somebody painting and decorating, say, excuse me, what you have to do is you go up and say, excuse me mate, excuse me mate, you haven't got any masking tape in your bag? I could have a little bit of masking tape, not too much, just a little bit, for a bit of modelling. I will make a rocket, do you know what I mean? And they might give you a little bit, it might give you a bit left on the end, you see, because when painters and decorators have a roll of this, if it gets near the bottom, they probably just chuck it away, because they can't be bothered putting it in their van. So they've got to have your own odds and ends bit. So there you go, that's the way we blag stuff. That's your first lesson today. So there is a nose for our rocket. Okay, how do we feel about that? Let's have a look. So we've now got to use some tape. Good job, I ripped off a few bits here. So we're going to stick that on to there like that. And you'll see this tape is really, really good. I could have what? What could I have done? Let me think. Should I think at the end of that sentence? Because it's quite hard thinking, doing, and controlling all this kit. I could have done it with a glue gun, but that would have been unnecessary plastic in the world. Don't forget that glue is plastic. Glue is a sort of plastic. Even runny glue is a sort of plastic. So let's not be wasting plastic and single-use plastic any more than we have to, please. Let's just try and be responsible. And I think that's going to be the one lesson of the coronavirus crisis, looking after the world a little bit better than maybe we have in the past, and doing the right thing. So there we go. There is a rather wonky rocket. Okay, we'll hold that up there against the green, and you can see that looks, yeah, it's not too bad. We now need some fins. Now this is my fin technique. Where did I put that thinner cardboard? That was good cardboard, that was. Let's get that back. This is quite nice, because the cardboard comes in lots of different styles. You may not notice, but when you next get a cardboard box, look at what's called the ply. And that is the end here. Can you see those little holes in there? That's called corrugation. Corrugated cardboard is what this is called. And this is quite thin. Sometimes you get thicker, but when they want cardboard to be extra strong, you sometimes get double thickness. So you get 2 layers of corrugation. Now, has that box over there got 2 layers of corrugation? Let me see if I can show you that. Oh, that feels like a very, oh yeah, this is like, so this cardboard feels almost as strong as wood. And look, if you see on the end there, can you see it's got 2 layers of corrugation on top of another? It's like double-decker corrugation here. That is really strong cardboard, which you can use to make really good, strong structures. Now this is quite thin, which is great, because I want this to be my fins. So for my fins, I'm going to cut a strip here like this, like that, and we'll cut that like that, and that like that. Oh, nearly got my finger again, be careful. So there's 2 bits of cardboard. Now I want these to slot together like this. So what I need to do is put a slot in there and a slot in there, so that we can actually slide them together like that. Got it? So we've now got a little cross. Now we now want that to go on the bottom of our rocket. So we could either cut some slots in the rocket, or we could cut some slots in the cardboard. I think I'll cut them in the, yeah, I'll cut them in the rocket, because they'll definitely be in the right place then. So 4 slots here, like this. Okay, and we'll put that, push those in there like that. And that is how we make fins on a rocket. Okay, got that. Now, I might want my fins to be a bit more aerodynamic than that, so I snip, 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 snip. Okay, so there's a rocket. Now I might want some decoration on my rocket, and I've got a newspaper here actually. This is a super newspaper, this one. This is from an event we did at Barclays Bank actually with Lem Cisse. He, oh my goodness, he is a super guy. Let's get that up. He's one of my favourite people actually. He's a very inspiring poet, Lem Cisse. And this is an evening we did at Barclays Bank with him, and we printed a whole load of these newspapers, and I've got a couple spare. And in here there's lots and lots of colourful stuff. Has this got the Dominic Wilcox? Oh my goodness, look at that. That is a poster of a little boy, now a big man, called Dominic Wilcox, who made things like this and drew when he was a little boy. Now he's a world famous inventor. And he is now on a poster for the Britain that says creativity is Great Britain. And after the virus lifts, we're going to need people like you and artists and engineers and creatives to come up with new ways of making the world a super cool, better place again, to be creative with your skills. So Dominic Wilcox and you should really be getting busy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some blue paper out. Now you could go to, oh my goodness, that sounds like the police are coming over, doesn't it? Blimey, hope they don't come crashing in here. So let's cut that back to there. And I've cut some paper out. So if I wanted to decorate my rocket, I could cut some coloured paper out like this. And the third way of, and while I think of it, do you know what? I'm going to turn my glue gun off. Let's turn the glue gun off now. Which one is the glue gun? Is that the glue gun? Yep. And if you're not using things, turn them off, because I'm a little bit headless today, as Carol Allen knows, because I didn't know what day of the week it was a few hours ago. So the third way of gluing things is with a Pritt stick. A glue stick like this. I can't afford Pritt ones. I've just got a cheapo one, which is good enough for me. And I get my little bits of paper, my blue bits like this, and I put some tape on there. Oh, there's a little boy's head there. I should have had his head on there looking at the, I think I will actually. That's a little girl. Let's put that on there like that. And let's glue her so she's looking out the window. There we go, look, there's a little girl there. Can you see that? She's looking out the window on her way to space. She's aiming higher than higher and high. And let's have a blue one underneath her, because that can be a reflection of the sun. And we'll have one at the top here like this. There we go. So there's our rocket. We've got some little shapes on there. Now you could do all sorts of things. You could do sculptures, you could do paintings, you could do whatever you want. Whoops, that's not a good look. Why is that doing that? That's annoying, isn't it? Did that yesterday. Let's go away from that. Oh, that's where I want to be. That's strange. Yeah, whatever. Technical issues that I have to try and work out while I'm talking nonsense. It's hard. I'll tell you what, it's hard talking nonsense and working out why things have gone wrong and carrying on making things add a card. So what have we made there? We have made a rocket with a little girl looking out the window. We've made a little castle, all out of toilet rolls, and we have made a UEFA Cup or Champions League Cup, or whatever it was that Liverpool won, because I don't really understand football, as Colin Diamond will understand, because I don't really get it, but he's a mad fan, but he's a great creative, so that's what matters. Creative educationalist. So there you go. There is a collection of things that we have made with loo roll holders. So I want you to do that. I want you to go away now and to do that in this brief you've just had. So you've just had your creative brief. 10 o'clock is the brief, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to go away now and make things out of loo rolls. I want you to put them on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram. I'll be honest, I get a bit busy and I don't get to see everything, but everybody else will be able to see it if you tag it. And we'll have a look at them at 2 o'clock. And if anybody wants to come on the show live and show us what they've done and talk about it, then we will let you come on Skype. Community lock-in is the Skype address. Bear with us if we don't answer, because it might mean we're talking to somebody already. And if any of you want to download this I Love Art template, please download this off the internet. Go to steamco.com/I Love Art, or search Steamco I Love Art, and I'm pretty sure that will come up. You then download that sheet, fold it in half, draw your heart in here, take a selfie like this and post that on social media if you don't mind. But the important thing is to send me the artwork, send me a really high quality version as well. And what I'm going to do this afternoon, I'm going to set the t-shirt printer up and I'm going to print some t-shirts. So I've got to do one for Rowan and Leanne up there in Leeds. We're going to print some t-shirts and then get them out today, Thursday is it, Carol, or Wednesday? Thursday. And we're going to send them out to you on the courier tonight. So you'll get them tomorrow, 3 or 4 of you, and you can wear them live on the launch show of the Rocket Kids Club. Now, I've been offered amazing special guests for that tomorrow. I can't believe my luck. Got an amazing guest for that tomorrow. Homer Hickam, who is the author who wrote Rocket Boys, is offered to come on the show from America tomorrow. And you know what? I'm not craving sort of compliments here, but we've had 3 or 4 families on this week and it's been great. Not an awful lot of people, and I'm wondering whether we should save Homer Hickam, because we can't keep asking people like that. Should we save him until May, when we do the whole month? And should we make today and yesterday and the day before and tomorrow kind of like our little secret time where we get the Rocket Kids Club ready, and then we could all launch it together on the 1st of May in the Parliament, in Houses of Parliament in London? How do you think that? Should we do that? And what we could do, we could then get Homer Hickam to Skype in live at the Houses of Parliament. That's what we'll do. And I'm making it up as I go along. I think to have him on tomorrow, if there aren't that many people here, because there's only a few of us in our secret club making the Rocket Kids Club. And when I say to you secret club, obviously grown-ups shouldn't really be talking about asking children to keep secrets, but I know that you're working with your parents here today. Don't ever take secrets off adults and other people that you talk to unless you're grown-ups and your carers know, and they know me, most of them know me, and I'm here anyway. But be very careful. And when we go, that's one of the most important things about the Rocket Kids Club, is that you do it together. The kids and the creative carers do it together. Because we're very, very concerned, or not very concerned, we want to be very sure that you're safe and have a great time. Because on the Rocket Kids Club, we want you to be inspired by seeing things like this that people like me knock up, because I know you can do better than this. We want you to be inspired. We want you to create things like this, and we want you to share them. A bit like Pobble, when you write a lovely letter and put it up on Pobble, you can share it and other people can tell you what they think. A bit like Dominic Wilcox's Little Inventors Club, where you do inventions and he likes them and he shares them and tells him what he thinks. That's what we want to do. So we want you to be inspired, we want you to create, and we want you to share. And we want everybody else to tell you what they think and what they might have done and how it could be better, because we're going to learn together. Because this year is our collaboration year. This is #Collaborate20 year. So, launching Friday is the Rocket Kids Club. I'm going to leave you with our little Rocket Kids Club launch film now. So watch the film and then have a glass of juice or a cup of water and give you let mum or dad or granddad have a cup of coffee and get creating. And Grandad Pete, I want you to do something with a loo roll today, because you inspired today, because you invented hashtag World Box Day. And because people like you don't just aim high, but aim higher for themselves and their children and everybody else's children, we are here today doing what we're doing with the Rocket Kids Club. So thank you very, very much for watching this. 45-minute briefing, should have been 30. I hope it was fun. I've had a brilliant time here at the Toilet Roll Factory. I'll see you at 2 o'clock. Cheers. Doing a hashtag Rocket Kids Club for all these kids to have a safe place to go and share and create with their creative carers. I'm going to share what Action Jackson hopefully would have done if he'd been on.
Everybody say dream big, dream big. Act now, act now. Never give up, never give up.
Let's just do some book stuff, shall we? This is the book that everybody really needs to be reading at the moment. Good Ideas, how to be your and your child's best teacher. What does collaboration mean to you?
For me, collaboration is everything. I believe that
even what we call it when what we do connects us. So your art could be painting, your art could be photography, your art could be dancing, the art of design, graphic design, DJing. I must admit, your art could be fashion. Your art, as many children are when I say this, could be football. The kids put their your art could be baking or cooking. The big bake-offs when the man connects. Your art could be coding, developing games. There are lots of jobs in the creative industries, and that's what this is all about. Your art could be rockets. You could say my art's rockets, paper rockets like this, because your art could be rockets like this, Stevenson's rocket. And that's a BBC microbit, a £12 computer. You can learn to code one of those without even having a microbit. And we're going to show you how to do that. And we're going to teach you how to code JD. I have got on the line an amazing man called David Gilday. Are you with us?
So there are kind of 2 stages to solving this.
Go for it. No epic fails here.
Indeed. So this one is very similar to the robot you've seen before, but because it can see it reflected back from the cube, it can detect that.
This is a world exclusive.
This is the new one that I've been developing. I'm still working
with anything to do with wires or motors or anything that he can. The other day he wanted to make a crane, so we made a crane out of bits of wood and rope and stuff that we found in the garden and in his dad's shed. Oops,
wow.
I can do it.